Welcome to Cam's Flies, everybody. We'll be tying up the crazy Cray today using an Ahrex hook TP650. This is a streamer hook, number 2. We're using a cyclone bead in a 4.6 millimeter. This is in a burnt orange. So we're tying this bead in backwards. That's what I'm trying to show you here. We're using the larger open end of the bead is going to be sliding onto the hook first. So we got that bead on the hook. Put our hook in our vise and we'll move our bead back out of the way. We're using a UTC thread here in 70 denier. The color is fire orange. And get this thread started up by the hook eye and work down just to the bend on the shank, and then cut your tag end of your thread off. And get rid of that and tie in your tail. This tail is a Hareline material called furry foam. It is also in color orange. Cut that tag end off, get that out of the way, and do a little bit of glue applying. This glue here is Zap-A-Gap. It's a medium viscosity. So I'm doing this just for the bead. When I slide the bead up over this tag end of the tail, it really holds it in place. This is where having the large end slide onto the hook first really helps. I'm using my Stonfo hair packer to get a better grip so I don't slip and poke myself. Reapply the same color thread, and now we're moving on to the Cohens carp dubbing in a rusty nail color. Here it is. This stuff has some lively legs in it, a very minimal amount, but it gives it a little bit of movement inside the water. So all I'm doing with this dubbing is just making a ball. It does not have to be perfect, but between the bead and this ball of dubbing, I want kind of an abrupt jump in the taper, so that way it gives a flare out to the materials that are going to be added on. These eyes, for starters. These eyes can be made out of monofilament just by burning the ends and coloring the tips black and adding a little bit of extra UV glue. These ones I'd purchased, but if you want, you can get creative. That's what we do as fly tires. Get this nice and secure. You can do a little bit of adjustments there. Here's our first batch of silly string there, or silly legs we're putting on. I'm not too sure what color it is. This is just a generic brand. I have a bunch of colors generic from this generic pack that I got. This looks just kind of like a orange cream, a barred orange cream color. That all set, clip it out of the way. And you'll see me a couple times, I kind of jumped the gun on cutting these feelers. This is something that you can just save till the end. It's really not a necessity to get it done right away. That way you can get a better idea at the very end of how much you really want to take off. So this moose body hair will be acting as the antennae for our Cray. tying in 2 of these. Make sure they are properly placed. And then secure them. And then cut off your tag ends. This particular silly legs I got from Postfly. If you guys haven't heard of Postfly and you're interested in fly tying, give Postfly check them out. They got some pretty cool stuff for beginner fly tyers. I definitely recommend them. Here's like a dark orangish reddish silly legs. Now in the end, I get them all pretty close. Like I can cut them all flush if I'd like, or you can kind of go in and cut them very close to the same length. You don't want to have them, crazy different lengths, You want them to be pretty even, but you can go in and snip them individually to give them a little bit more, each feeler a little bit more character. This is a brown here that I'm using, kind of just a plain brown. Where I get a little rambunctious and couldn't help cutting it, but here's some flash, some midge flash. It's in an olive pearl. This little batch I pulled out wasn't very cooperative, but I did make it work. You can see that it's not the straightest strands, but it worked out. It gave my Cray kind of a really buggy look, and I really dug it. Here's just some like pearl flash. This is from a generic pack that I got of flash. Amazon special. You see we have quite a few feelers on there. And now we will be using a natural ringneck pheasant pelt, and I will be farming some feathers right here from the breast. These breast feathers have a very nice claw looking pattern to them. And these things may not want to cooperate right away as well. Sometimes the shape of the stem, or if it may throw you off, or if you flatten it, because they do flatten, they're kind of like a spongy material on the inside. You can go ahead and just pull it off and try to re-flatten it to get it to cooperate. Flatten it in the way that you need it to. So vinyl rib, size midge, and the colored rust. You get that secured. This is the Hareline lead wire in .030. Now folks, if I could go back, I would have waited on tying this V-rib in. It kind of got in the way when I was trying to put my my lead wraps on and trying to dub and add my legs. So just a side note, that's one other thing I would do differently. You see me here trying to adapt and overcome by wrapping it forward out of the way. And just decided to not do it. But I needed the lead wraps wrapped. Now we're going with an awesome Possum Wapsie dubbing, rusty orange. Get this body dubbed up. Work our way up to the legs, which we will be using Hareline Ultra Chenille in the micro. This color is burnt orange. And get these legs secured. And what you can do is add glue before you apply these legs and then wrap them just to get them better secured, because sometimes they'll want to slide from side to side through wherever you tied them in at, and the little glue will go a long way. That's something else you can do. So I only got 2 sets of legs on this Cray. I got a little hasty in the beginning when I was dubbing up the back side of the body. Next time I'd like to get in 3 sets, but this 2 sets doesn't look so bad. Dub up the rest of this body. We're gonna work our V-rib up to the front to give our rib effect. Right about here. I've heard this stuff called V-rib and D-rib. So if you look at this strand head on, it has a D shape to it. One side is rounded and the other side is flat. Kind of threw me off when I heard them being called both. I didn't know if it was a different material, but the V just is for vinyl. The D is just for the shape of it. So V-rib and D-rib is the same thing. If anyone was wondering. You get that all tied off and snip your tag into your thread, and we can come in with some Loon UV glue. This is in Flow. I like this stuff because it's the thickness, the viscosity is just, it's a lot thinner, so it flows into your threads a lot better. It doesn't just sit on top. Use a cauterizing tool to make the bend in the legs. Be careful to not burn yourself, and be careful to not singe the legs all the way off, because I've done that. And here's where you can add a little bit of glue to the stem of your feathers acting as your claws, and then zap them into place so they stay right where you want them. And here's the finished result, guys. I hope everyone liked it and enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed tying this. So we'll be seeing you guys on the next one. In the meantime, I'm gonna go fish this.